probably come as a shock to no one, but a group of Antifa members have created their own autonomous zone in Seattle. One, they say, is self-governed and self-sufficient. They even have their own sign.
We are the police of this community now. We are the leaders of this community now.
In the few short days since they took over 6 blocks of the city and declared themselves their own state, they've had a movie night, handed out ice creams, and now they have their very own self-appointed warlord. Well, I'm now taking bets on how long it's going to take for this situation to devolve into a Lord of the Flies type scenario. But putting this idiocy aside for a second, this group have also issued a list of demands. Some of these demands include abolishing the justice system and the police. Yeah, can't see that going wrong anytime soon, considering you have a warlord and a desire to get guns. They also want to give reparations to victims of police brutality, de-gentrify Seattle, and make sure that Black doctors and nurses specifically treat Black patients. That's what we called veiled segregation, people. On top of all of that super fun stuff, they also want to have anti-bias training to make sure that everyone thinks the same, I guess, have free college for all, and tear down all historical statues that they find offensive. Now, what's happened in the last few days is definitely amusing on some level, especially the warlord part. That really tickles me. But at the same time, I think we would be really remiss if we didn't take stock of what's happening now going forward. Antifa have made it clear that they have no problem using violence in order to get their message across. Project Veritas has exposed this, Steven Crowder has exposed this, and countless others. On a personal level, Antifa have threatened events I've run, they've hurt friends of mine who've been covering protests, and having seen these people in action, I can tell you, they view anyone who thinks differently as their enemy. The folks who created this autonomous zone have been posting online about how to create homemade chemical weapons and how to use armed forces to push back against police. They've also been pilfering things from nearby buildings and businesses. Because nothing says revolution quite like stealing. And growing your own potatoes, which I guess they're gonna try to do. You know, gotta have the essentials. But people should be taking note, because this is what you get when you wage a national war against the police. This is what you get when you encourage the idea that defunding and abolishing them is good. This is what happens when you let violent organized terror groups operate unrestrained for literally years. And in my opinion, this goes way beyond freedom of speech, right to assembly, and right to protest. A group of troglodytes took over part of Seattle City in a matter of hours, basically unopposed, and nobody seems to find that remotely problematic. We've been seeing the actions of this group on a smaller scale for years and years and years. And during that time, they've had the support of politicians, the media, celebrities, all who've looked at the actions of this group as necessary to freedom and, I guess, defeating Trump. All the while, mind you, this group of people have literally destroyed cities, hurt people, and now made their own little state. This is what happens when you ignore radicalism. It does not go away. It proliferates. And if nothing else, what these people are doing should demonstrate the value and necessity of a functional police force. But it should also serve as a warning, because these people are now emboldened, and their hateful, divisive rhetoric will lead to more and more and more of this. Get ready.